So I wanted to make this short video real quick of these two posts that I just recently put up on Facebook, okay? And I want to make sure that everyone knows that you can reach this information on your own by any means, okay? Either by going on the internet and searching certain keywords, or simply by going to the library and looking up Constantine, the Council of Nicaea, the Council of 325, the Apostle Creed, and a couple of other keywords though. Okay, so the purpose of me making this very, very short video is so I can highlight these two posts. All right, and I'm going to read them verbatim. Here's a little background information for Christians for the day that they go to church. On 7 March 321, Constantine I, or Constantine the First, Rome's first Christian emperor, he was actually a Christian convert on his deathbed, decreed that Sunday would be observed as the Roman day of rest. All right, now pay attention to this, okay? Because this is what we are dealing with today in our society. And this is the opposite. This is the absolute exact opposite of what Yahuwah, or the God of heaven, had originally stationed for us. Instead of Sunday being the day of rest, it was Saturday that was the day of rest, simply because that was the day he chose to rest. So he chose to give us his rest on the day that he rested. All right. And then man named Constantine decided to change that. And it says, on the venerable day of the sun, let the magistrates and the people residing in the cities rest, and let all workshops be closed. In the country, however, persons engaged in agriculture may freely and lawfully continue their pursuits, because it often happens that another day is not so suitable for grain sowing or vine planting, lest by neglecting the proper moment for such operations, the bounty of heaven should be lost. Okay, so we know that in our society today that most everything is closed on Sunday. The reason why most everything is closed on Sunday in our society today is because of this guy right here, Constantine. He decided to make Sunday instead of Saturday the day of rest. All right. And he was doing it as a venerable day of the sun, as a day for worshiping the S-U-N in the sky, not the S-O-N of heaven. OK. So here's a little background information for Christians about the day that they go to church. In Roman culture, Sunday was the day for the sun god. In paganism, the sun was the source of life, giving warmth and illumination to mankind. It was the center of a popular cult among Romans, which was the cult of Dionysus, or the cult of Apollos, who would stand at dawn to catch the first rays of sunshine as they prayed. The opportunity to spot in the nature worship of their heathen neighbors a symbolism valid to their own faith was not lost on the Christians. One of the church fathers, St. Jerome, would declare, if pagans call the Lord's day the day of the sun, we willingly agree. For today the light of the world is raised. Today revealed the Son of Justice with healing in his rays. And what that is speaking of, when Christ rose from the dead. Unfortunately, ignorantly, people don't understand that according to the Bible and according to Hebraic timelines, the new day starts when the sun goes down. So at evening time, at sundown, that's actually the start of the new day. So whereas many people and many Christians think that Christ rose early Sunday morning, the truth of that matter is he rose late Saturday night, which would also still be considered early Sunday morning, because according to the Hebrews and the Jews, once the sun fell and the night fell, the new day was already beginning, and it just had to wait for the dawn. All right? So the purpose of this video is to hopefully reach out and tap deeply into the hearts of my Christian brothers and sisters. More specifically, and don't take me wrong, anyone who I'm about to ostracize, but more specifically, my black Christian brothers and sisters. The reason why I want to focus on them is because they should not be Christians. They are Hebrews, and they need to understand that. We were never meant to be Christians. We were always meant to be Hebrews. We were always meant to be Jews. We were always meant to expose the spirituality of the Hebrews and the Jews to the rest of the world. So Christianity is a religion for the rest of the world to be included or to be inclusive in the Hebraic promise. Hebrews, or black people, I should say, for that matter, should not be a part of the Christian faith. They don't have to be, because they're already a part of the covenant bloodline. So they don't have to infuse themselves as a part of the grafted in faith. They're already a part of the vine. Now, if they got clipped off, that's their complication, but it's not Christianity that's going to fuse them back to the vine. It's realizing that they have to observe the law, statutes, and commandments that will fuse them back into the vine, because that's how we grew out of the vine in the first place. We grew out of the vine through the laws, statutes, and commandments, and we are the grapes. So if we want to fuse ourselves back to the vine, if we have been clipped, then Christianity is not the way to go about it. Christianity is for the Gentiles, for a different branch or a different strain to be fused into our vine. That's what that's about. Romans 11:11 says clearly that the Gentiles were given salvation specifically and simply and solely for the purpose of making the Hebrews jealous for squandering their promise and their covenant. That's the fact of the matter. This is clearly stated in Romans chapter 11, verse 11. So in other words, if the Hebrews would have never squandered their covenant, their promise to their God, then the Gentiles would have never been offered the availability to be grafted in. All right? So just a quick recap. Black people, you don't need to be a Christian. You're already a Hebrew. You're already a part of the promise. If you've been clipped, the way to fuse yourself back into the vine is by picking back up the law, statutes, and commandments. It is for the Gentiles to use Christianity to fuse themselves into our Hebraic vine, because they're not a part of our Hebraic line. And that's why they have to be fused in that way. We don't have to, because we are a part of the bloodline. We just have to get back into the workings and the practicings that initiated our covenant, our agreement, and our promise with the Father God in the first place. So I hope that this video, along with the other video that I made where I was talking to Google, helped a little bit. I want you people to know, more specifically, you black people, you don't need to be a Christian. As a matter of fact, you should not be a Christian, because you are already a Hebrew. All right? Secondly, if you are a Christian and you choose to be one, then you need to make sure that you are not going to church on a day that venerates the sun in the sky, that gives praise and worship to an item that was created and placed in the sky by our God, because that is specifically what that day is about and what it's for. So if you choose to continue to be Christian, then what you need to do is that you need to find a Seventh-day Adventist church. You need to find you a church that worships and represents the God of heaven on the day that he selected for us to worship him and rest with him. Hopefully I've been able to provide ample information, and I've been able to provide viable information. I know that this information is valuable, but that information is only valuable to the person who chooses to value it. And again, all this information you have the ability and the power to look up for yourself. You can go on YouTube, not YouTube, you can go on the internet, and type in Constantine, type in the Council of Nicaea, type in 325 AD. Excuse me. You can type in the Venerable Day of the Sun. You can type in what is the real Sabbath day. These are keywords that are going to lead you to the truth, to this very truth that I've been trying to provide to you. And I hope with the blessing of God that you are listening to my voice. For only those who have ears to hear will listen to these words, and they will seek them out for themselves. Baruch and Shalom.